Now joining me on the broadcast, Brigadier General Amir Avivi, who's the founder and the chairman of IDFS, which is the Israeli Defense and Security Forum. He's joining me from Tel Aviv. I would like to start by asking you, Amir, now we have seen that threats have started flying thick and fast from both the sides. On one side, it is Israel, which is saying that our action has been in retaliation to what Iran has been doing. Do you believe the strikes will continue, or do you believe now covert operations will start taking place?
I believe that we are in the beginning of a long campaign. At the end of the day, Israel understands that there is an historic opportunity to deal with this imminent danger of nuclear Iran, which is not only a danger to Israel, it's a global threat, it's a regional threat, and it needs to be dealt. Iran is moving steadily towards nuclear capabilities. They want global domination. They want to control the Middle East, and this needs to be dealt with. So I think that this attack is the beginning of a long-term campaign which will end only one way. This regime, Iranian regime, on its knees and not posing any threat, not to Israel, not to the region, and not to the world. And the big question is Israel going to deal with this alone, or are we going to see a change of administration in the US and the US leading a coalition and dealing seriously with Iran and dismantling all these Shia axis? If this is done, this will bring prosperity and peace and a big alliance, a Western Israeli-Sunni alliance in the Middle East and beyond, that will extend all the way to Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Oman. There is a huge opportunity to really bring prosperity and security and stability to the Middle East. It cannot happen without dealing militarily with Iran and stopping their aggression.
Amir, you made a very important point. You are saying that this war will end in only one way, and the idea is to make sure that Iran and its allied proxies cannot harm people in the entire region. Do you believe then these kind of missile attacks will continue in days to come?
Well, I think that the Iranians have to consider what they're going to do. Israel destroyed most of their air defense, targeted their industries and ballistic missiles. We see that Israel has full freedom of operation in Iran and can operate anywhere, at any time, and hit precisely any place. So we'll have to see what Iran will do, and they also are considering the fact that the US is going to elections. I think that what will define what will happen in the future will be the policy of the next administration, but also the policy of President Biden after these elections, no matter who wins. The big question is, what kind of heritage does Biden want to leave? Is going to be appeasement and weakness, or showing strengths and dealing with the threat of nuclear Iran?
Amir, do you believe, because the change of guard in the United States is just a couple of days, we will see how 5th of November is when the United States is going for elections. So we will see in the next couple of days that change of guard taking place in the United States. Will that impact the relationship that Iran and Israel has at the moment?
Well, I think that a change in the relationship between Iran and Israel has to go through bringing down this evil regime. The Iranian people like Israel and like the Jewish people. But this regime has really decided they'll do anything possible to destroy Israel. They even set a date in 2040 where they want to destroy completely Israel. And this is obviously not going to happen. Now, we know throughout history, whether it was the Nazis or anybody else who tried to undermine Zionism and Israel, it ended by these entities disappearing from the world. So Israel is not going to stop until Iran is not going to pose a threat. And we have to remember that Israel is dismantling the strategic depths of Iran. All the national security way of thinking of Iran is building a strategic depths like Hezbollah, like Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen. and Israel is systematically dismantling these strategic depths. This might create a reality where Iran will try to accelerate their nuclear plans, and therefore we're entering a kind of race. They will try to accelerate and reach nuclear capabilities. Israel and the West need to stop this, and therefore I see this campaign continuing throughout these elections in the US and beyond the next administration.
Amir, we have seen how missile attacks are taking place, eliminating terrorists. That is one side of the war. The other side that we are seeing is hitting the economy of Iran. So do you believe that this is a multi-frontal war, that Israel will continue hitting the economy of Iran? Do you think that's also on agenda?
Basically, there are 4 different kinds of targets Israel might hit. It can be oil refineries. It can be the leadership of Iran. I want to remind you that the Iranians have tried to kill Trump and also Netanyahu. So really also hitting their leadership might be an option. We're talking about military sites and we're talking about nuclear sites. So there are many different targets. Important thing is dealing with the nuclear sites and stopping the plans of Iran to become nuclear. Now, if Israel needs to do this alone, this will take time. It's a long campaign. If the US joins and leads a coalition, what Israel did in a week or two against Hezbollah, a coalition can do in a few days in Iran. Iran is a tiger paper. They can be dealt with, but it requires leadership from the US and leading a coalition.
Thank you, Brigadier General Amir Avivi, for joining me on the broadcast. Brigadier General Amir Avivi making a very important point and saying that this is not just a war being fought on one front, but multiple fronts.